need that, do I? No, I don't. Alright, we can get rid of that. Hey! It's your host, ID Jester. Back with The Lord of the Rings, the COD game. This is another new Tear the Shrink, where we're going to tear the shrink wrap off a box, and we're going to look at what's you get in the box and find out all the goodies. So, if you've been around the channel for any length of time, you know that getting back into Lord of the Rings, playing it, got all the cards. We did the 4 different Rohan deck and Dwarf deck and all the starter decks expansions. And then I was going away on vacation for a week, and I came back. And before I left, I ordered the 3 SAGA expansions. So you have the first one here. This is the Fellowship of the Ring. Second one, obviously, is the 2 Towers. And the last one, of course, is the Return of the King. So we're going to be opening up each of these and checking them out, because I'm not sure if I'm going to play through the SAGA expansions, or if I'm going to play through, like, starting in the base game and playing through Passage Through Mirkwood and all that stuff and trying that out. And we're still getting used to dragon cards and learning that system, so there's a lot going into this. And I'm going to take a little bit of what I've learned from Phoenix Knight, where before he starts a project, before he starts doing things, he kind of tests so that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to do a little bit of testing, figure out what I want to do before I jump in and do it. But before we get to any of that, we still need to find out what's inside this box. So let's do that. We'll worry about the rest of it when we get to it. Alright, so first things first. Let me turn the brightness down and zoom out just a little bit there. For some reason it zoomed in. Alright, so we can tear the shrink wrap off. Everything will look better as soon as the shrink wrap is off. Trust me on that. So here we go. The Fellowship of the Ring SAGA expansion. Alright, join Frodo Baggins and his companions as they begin their legendary quest to destroy the One Ring and defeat Sauron. The journey is fraught with dangerous foes such as the Uruk-hai, the Watcher of the Water, the Balrog, and the dreaded Nazgul. The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring SAGA expansion contains 6 scenarios that recreate the adventures featured in the Fellowship of the Ring, the first part of the epic The Lord of the Rings Journey by J.R.R. Tolkien. In addition, this expansion includes over 60 hero and player cards which can be used to build and enhance player decks for any of the Lord of the Rings the card game scenarios or campaign. This expansion includes all the cards originally featured in the Black Riders and the Road... This expansion includes all the cards originally featured in the Black Riders and the Road Darkens expansions, now repackaged into one box. You can recreate the classic novel, partake in the pivotal events of the Fellowship of the Ring, such as eluding the Black Riders, traversing the mines of Moria, and breaking the Fellowship. Wield the One Ring. Play with the most powerful and renowned ring of them all, which allows you to have an additional hero for the new Fellowship Spear of your team. Build new player decks, discover new strategies, and combinations by constructing or enhancing your player decks with over 60 heroes and player cards. 30 minutes, 1 to 4 players, and it is co-op. This is the original co-op game back in the day. Like, co-op was nothing before Lord of the Rings came out, to be honest. The Lord of the Rings, the card game, the Fellowship of the Ring, SAGA expansion rule booklet. We'll look at that in a minute. And as you can see, each of these is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 100 cards. You're just going to get a bunch of cards. That's it. Bunch of cards. We're not going to get in. Are we going to get into the cards? Are we going to get into the cards? Maybe. We might. I'm not going to get into spoiler cards. All of the enemy cards, we don't really probably going to get into those. We'll take a look at the rulebook quickly though. Setting up the game, SAGA rule stages, SAGA expansion player cards. The Fellowship Spear, denotes by the icon, is a spear of influence by the Lord of the Rings, the card game with its own set of rules. Oh, so yeah, this is all new stuff there. The Fellowship of the Ring features 2 new versions of Frodo Baggins, the hero who belongs to the Fellowship Spear. Interesting. Then there's rules for the One Ring, multiplayer rules, campaign rules. New terms, archery, immune to card effects, indestructible, peril, permanent, setup instructions, and toughness. Then your scenarios are going to be Scenario 1, a shadow of the past. Scenario 2, a knife in the dark. Scenario 3, flight to the ford. Flight to the ford. Scenario 4 is the ring goes south. Scenario 5 is journey in the dark. Scenario 6 is the breaking of the fellowship. Multiple stage arenas. Starter deck lists if you're looking for some starter decks to perform this with. Stealth and steadfast. Wisdom and wizardry. Then you have your campaign log sheets. And your credit and playtesters for this. So, Dewey. I don't know if I want to get into opening it back. Alright, I suppose we should at least take a look at like one of the packages and kind of have an idea of what we're talking about. So, this is all of the Shadow of the Past campaign. Now, if you're a Marvel Champions player, you have to think like Shadow of the Past. Like, did they do that on purpose when they created Marvel Champions? Did they purposely call a Shadow of the Past because of this? I don't know. I do not know, my friend, but I do know one thing. These are all the cards that go with the enemies. We're going to look at just the non-spoilerific cards at this point. We got a Frodo Baggins. We got 2 copies of Frodo. 2 completely different ones. We have a Sam Ganji. We have a Mary. I bet you, I'm almost guaranteed we're going to get a Pippin. Oh, no, we didn't. We got a Fatty Bolger. Oh, there's Pippin. There's Pippin. There's Gandalf. Now these are just the heroes. So those are the only heroes you can play as. No, there's another hero. Gandalf. Why doesn't he have a spear? If he's a hero. I don't know. That's a good question. We might have to look in the rulebook on that. You have Bill the Pony, Galadriel, the Hobbit Cloak, Boromir, Farmer Maggot. We have the Dagger of Westeros. We have the Halfling Determination. We have Bilbo Baggins. We have the Hobbit Pride. We have the Smoke Rings. We have the Barlamin Butterboer, I think. Elrond. The Elf Stone. Take No Notice. Gandalf's Staff. The Wizard's Bride. Flame of Arnor. That is some really good artwork on that card. If I gotta zoom in on that one. Look at that. That is some awesome artwork on that card. Fellowship of the Ring and Frodo's Intuition. So those are the cards and the heroes that you're going to be able to play in this original game. And I'm assuming like these are all the bad shadow cards. And again, we're not going to get into spoilers with the shadow cards because you're going to have to fight through all the different counters and everything. So, Shadow of the Past. The Lord of the Rings Part 1. You are playing campaign mode. Set up, attach Mr. Underhill to the ring bearer. Add Gandalf Delay to the staging area. Shuffle Gildor Ignorin, and the ring draws them into the encounter deck. The Shire. He may be seeking for it now, as he has already found it out where it lies. Indeed, Frodo, I fear that he may even think that the long unnoticed name of Baggins has become important. Gandalf, the Fellowship of the Ring. Okay, and then there is your 3 is company. A shortcut to mushrooms. An escape to Buckland. Okay. Again, I'm not going to try and get too much spoilerific on what is there. But that is pretty much... One question I have is why you have your new Lord of the Rings group, which I think allows you to have an extra Frodo Baggins is the only hero with the ring bearer trait, including in this expansion. When using one of these versions, Frodo players cannot start with any other version of Frodo Baggins in his start area and include any other version of Frodo Baggins in his deck. As a hero, each of these versions of Frodo Baggins collect 1 resource during the resource phase, in addition to paying for cards of the Fellowship Sphere. Resources from Frodo Baggins' resource pool may be spent to pay for neutral cards. Because the 3 versions of Frodo Baggins belong to the Fellowship Sphere, they cannot be used as a hero when playing any scenario from a product other than the Lord of the Rings Saga expansion. Heroes belonging to the Fellowship Sphere can only be used when playing the scenarios in the Saga expansion. Also, only 1 hero from the Fellowship Sphere can be played at any one time. Therefore, it is not possible from there to be more than 1 hero belonging to the Fellowship Sphere in play at any one time. So there are some restrictions on those cards. Alright, well, I will get into that when I get into it, but that is a look at what you get in the Lord of the Rings Saga expansion, The Fellowship of the Ring. Just going to be cards, and it looks like, obviously, you got cards for multiple other games that you can put in. Instead of having a whole bunch of boxes, looks like you might be able to just use the one. So, Cardboard Commander, good to see you, my friend. That is it. The Lord of the Rings, the card game, the Fellowship of the Ring Saga expansion. Awesome new idea to be able to play through the Saga expansions movies. If you're into Lord of the Rings at all, it might be well worth your time to check this out and invest in it and try it out. Again, I'm not sure if we're going to be going through the Lord of the Rings from the core box and working through all the expansions through that, or if we're just going to start with the Saga expansion. I don't know what we're doing yet. That's why we're still testing everything out and figuring it all out. So thanks everyone for watching. We do appreciate it. We'll be having a part 2 of this, which is going to be, obviously, part 2, The Two Towers. So we'll see you in that episode. Bye for now.